Hey, what's up guys, Ref here. So we got some more Gamergate related controversy to cover in this video, mainly because Sweet Baby Inc. and its employees just can't help themselves. They can't act normal and they keep creating more problems for themselves. Today's story involves this headline right here. Sweet Baby Inc. employee Chris Kindred allegedly contacts Smash JT's former employer to get him fired. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we now have Sweet Baby Inc. employees contacting the employers of their critics to try to get them fired. This is a majorly stupid decision, but we'll get into it in 1 second. Let's remind ourselves where we're at. Sweet Baby Inc. has been under fire for months now, and nobody feels sorry for them because it's all their own doing. And for a company that is struggling right now, their business model is looking really bad. You look at their projects. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. They were heavily involved in that. They lost Warner Bros. $200 million. We've seen some studios, like the Chinese studio Game Science, look at this woke DEI initiatives that consulting companies like Sweet Baby Inc. offer. And they said, no, we're not interested. Thank you. Please leave us alone. We can handle our games ourselves without your nonsense. And on top of that, we have seen the employees. Who would want to work with people like this who are Sweet Baby Inc. employees who are saying all these foul things about people based on the color of their skin or their religion? And I also talked about this in yesterday's video. We have Chris Kindred. Who would want to work with this person at Sweet Baby Inc.? They are a narrative designer for Sweet Baby Inc. and they have been the focus of all the recent Gamergate stuff because they started it. It is easy to determine that this is the ground zero of months of drama that has happened in the gaming sphere. It began with Chris Kindred starting a harassment campaign against the Steam group Sweet Baby Inc. Detected when it was in its infancy, okay? That was a very small Steam group, and through the Streisand effect, Chris Kindred trying to get this group taken down, and reporting the account of its owner, Cabrutus, made it blow up. And it was very funny to watch. And again, just remind yourself where this all came from. It was a Brazilian man making a list of games that Sweet Baby Inc. are involved with. Games that they themselves publicly list on their own website. Think about that. And that wouldn't be the only time that they got themselves and Sweet Baby Inc. in trouble for their tweets. This one back in March was made only a few hours after the passing of Akira Toriyama was announced, where they criticized him for the way that they portrayed black characters in their franchises, which is absolutely insane. And apparently they didn't learn their lesson because 1 week later, they went after Asmongold, trying to get him in trouble with his sponsors, claiming that Asmongold is the leader of harassment campaigns, which is incredibly ironic because Chris Kindred knows exactly what a harassment campaign looks like because they started one against Sweet Baby Inc. Detected. Now here we are with Smash JT. He now enters the fray of this story. He is a YouTuber who is very much hated by many members of the gaming industry, largely because of his criticism of Sweet Baby Inc. and people like them, but also because he runs a website called Kotaku Detected, keeping track of the public actions of Kotaku journalists and their supporters. And he also has had people try to contact real-life people associated with him. We've seen the Kotaku editor, Alyssa Mercante, claim that she contacted JT's wife on Facebook to say how mean he is online. And now we've reached the next level. The next level, in a very deplorable one, where Smash JT claims that Sweet Baby Inc. employee Chris Kindred contacted his employers to try to get him fired, which is a very pathetic and really just desperate move on their behalf.
Which brings me full circle as to you contacting a place of work of mine that I was at like 3 years ago, okay? And these people, they're very busy people. They have professional jobs. They're working hard. Do some research before you start doing stuff like this. But you leave these messages and you think it's not going to get back to me. I don't know. Maybe you thought it would be anonymous, even though you left your name and your phone number, which is your same phone number that you list on your website, which is how I know it's you. Like, I don't know what you were thinking and why you thought this was a good idea, but this is going to come back full force on you. You are the bad guy in this situation. You don't do stuff like this. I don't know how else to tell you this, but It's just like you just keep taking L after L after L. All I'm doing is calling out shenanigans in the video game industry. I'm shining a spotlight on the bad actors. I'm letting people know that care about video games who the people are that might not have their best interests in mind when covering the games, when talking about the video game industry. And honestly, I feel like that's a pretty honorable position to take, as much as it pisses you guys off because you're the ones getting caught with your pants down with this awful things that you've done and said over the years that are being called out by me and many others because we want to make the video game industry better. And you are taking it to real life. You are trying to get people fired.
So as you can see, we have reached the next level here. We're now contacting employers of your critics. Is that what the gaming industry is doing now? The members of the gaming industry, they're going after employers of people who dare to criticize them. Let's get this straight. Chris Kindred is only mad at people like Smash JT because they criticize their publicly available works, like it's Sweet Baby Inc., and they criticize the public works of people like Kotaku and other members of the gaming industry. They don't like it, so they resort to insane actions like this that are only done out of personal spite. They're only doing this because they personally dislike Smash JT. This is not for some greater good or protecting people or doing anything like that. It's done out of spite. They want to hurt the personal life of these people who dare to criticize them. And this is completely unhinged behavior. It is completely unnecessary and unhinged. And you only look crazy doing stuff like this, especially when Smash JT and other people have a good relationship with their employers or former employers, where they get a call from someone like Chris Kindred and they share this information with Smash JT because they're like, we're getting a call from this crazy person. I think you should know about them, which, by the way, is also leaving their full legal name. They're using their legal name for this and also using their real phone number. So it's all traceable back to Chris Kindred. It's such a boneheaded decision, especially when you think there might be some legal action in process here. I mean, let's think about it. We have a lot of people in the gaming industry claiming that they're going to raise legal claims against some of their critics for reasons that make no sense, and also that don't make sense, not just on a legal sense, but also there's no damages to collect in these cases. They're not suffering actual harms. They're being criticized in videos and they just don't like it. In this case, however, we're reaching an actual harm, something that fulfills or might fulfill legal requirements and also have damages. If you get someone fired or you mess with their employment opportunities because of stuff like this, you are committing a tort. You might actually end up in court and getting sued. Much more realistic than what these game journalists and alike are trying to attempt. So you can see right here, with 1 second of research, there's multiple versions of this, and it depends on where you're from, but tortious interference with a business relationship or a business contract, they're basically the same elements. Let's read this. The elements of the tort can vary by state, but generally include the following. A business relationship exists between the plaintiff and a third party that affords the plaintiff some legal right, like their employment contract, and that exists between JT and the employer, whether it's former or present. And the next one is the defendant has knowledge of that relationship, which obviously someone like Chris Kindred would if they're contacting these employers. The next one says the defendant has the requisite intent to interfere with the relationship between the third party and the plaintiff, which would seem very clear if they're calling up the employer and saying negative things and even what is alleged lying about some things in order to interfere with that relationship or contract. And then here, the defendant lacks justification to interfere with that relationship. I think that explains itself. And then the last one, the breach causes damages to the plaintiff. That is something that will actually happen. If you get someone like JT fired by contacting their employer or messing with their future employment opportunities, that's an actual set of damages that would be something to collect on in a legal case. Like, I don't understand why you're doing this to yourself. If you're Chris Kindred, why are you going through all of this just because you're mad about online criticism? You're actually going to throw yourself out there to potential litigation and damages you might have to pay. What is in it for you, even if you're able to mess with his employment opportunities? It's such a boneheaded move. And also, Smash JT would release this statement basically wrapping up the thoughts on what's going on with Chris Kindred, saying this: I've sent the following message to Sweet Baby Inc. via the contact form on their website. Hello, one of your employees, Chris Kindred, has recently reached out to a place of employment of mine asking about my job status and stating false things about me at my work. I would like to know how you plan on handling this situation and what your stance is on such actions. This is incredibly out of bounds and bordering on legal action as I take this matter extremely seriously. And that's the thing. You ask Sweet Baby Inc. or Kotaku or some of these other developers, and you ask them, how do you support this behavior? Are you going to address? I mean, at this point, Sweet Baby Inc. doesn't have some massive roster, so they have to know about this situation. They have to know about the behavior of Chris Kindred, and how can they sit there and either pretend to ignore this and act like they're not seeing this, or think it's acceptable, because it's crazy. It's absolutely insane. There's no self-respecting company that would allow someone to act like this. And much like the harassment campaign they started against Sweet Baby Inc. detected, I would likely guess that there was a possibility, at least, that this was done on the clock. Like they were doing this behavior while they're being on the clock at Sweet Baby Inc. and they're being paid by Sweet Baby Inc., which would also tie in Sweet Baby Inc. to everything that's happening by virtue of their relationship. It's such a stupid move. And the fact that they're going to try to bury their head in the sand as Chris Kindred might go off and keep doing more and more of these things is really, really bad. They're only making it worse for themselves by not rebuking this behavior and saying, we don't support this, or getting rid of someone like this. I don't understand how you can possibly think this is appropriate in any sort of a sense. But moving on, oh wait, it would happen again. Another person right after that would contact Smash JT's employers. And this person is apparently a streamer. Don't know much else about them because their account is now private. They are afraid of receiving any criticism. And again, I would ask this person the same thing I would ask Chris Kindred. Is this all worth it to you, and the potential risks that you might face and the consequences you might face? It doesn't seem worth it. Like this criticism you're so angry about, maybe let it go or find a healthier way to go about this than trying to get people in trouble with their employers. But of course, we all know why this is all happening in the first place. There's a lot of support from the gaming industry, including from journalists. And we have seen people like Nick Calandra here. They were involved with some personal beef with Smash JT as well. They are a co-founder and editor-in-chief at Second Wind Group. And you can see they led a campaign to falsely reports the Kotaku detected website that Smash JT runs to Wix to get it taken down. And they were successful, by the way. They got it taken down for about 36 hours, and then Smash JT was able to contact someone at Wix, and they immediately fixed it. They understood that these were false reports and that he wasn't doing anything that required his website being shut down. And you would see people like Alyssa Mercante celebrating this takedown and even saying that they're pursuing legal action, which again, comparing that to the actual potential harms that might be happening with the contacting of employers is really ridiculous when this boils down to he's being mean to me online or criticizing me. And on top of that, you can see she's at Kotaku, and she is the one who recently made a very, very bold statement in a clip that we reviewed a few days ago where she challenged anyone, an open challenge to anyone, to a physical fight, which of course she has been very, very much backing down on. In fact, she has gone private over the last couple of days. That's how embarrassing things have gotten, and we will update you on that situation in the coming days. But for now, that is the update on all of this Gamergate-related controversy. It seems to never end, and it's always self-created with the actions of Sweet Baby Inc. as a company and their employees, and then all of the members of the industry who are supporting them. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.